here we are, day 2 of fluency because we ran out of time. So yesterday we read The Great Inventor, right? And as good readers, we made predictions. We read it the first time, just as our cold read, and then we went back and I modeled reading it for you. Whoopsies, right? So I modeled what prosodic reading means. That's when we read with expression. Remember how my voice changed to show meaning? All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to use this passage for a few purposes. We'll continue to talk about fluency for a little bit, and then we're actually going to do some vocabulary work with this passage, and then we're going to do some comprehension because there's a lot that we can use this passage for. All right, so I'm going to model again just because it's been a whole day, and then it's going to be your turn to practice, and then actually we'll read it together, you practice, and then read it again. Ready? And remember, it's not speed. You all read it at a beautiful speed, so I'm not concerned about the number of words you read per minute. I'm just concerned, I'm not concerned. I'm trying to help you so that you know what it sounds like to read with expression. Got it? Okay. All right, sit up tall. Tall. Thank you. All right, I'm just going to read the first paragraph. You ready? The Great Inventor. Garrett Morgan, are you following? Show me. Garrett Morgan was born over 150 years ago. He grew up in the South on his family's farm with his brothers and sisters. After he left the farm, he became famous for fixing and inventing things. He improved the
sewing.
Good, you remember that word. The sewing machines in factories. Where am I, Anthony? Excellent. He also found a way to make curly hair straight. But his best inventions saved lives. Someone want to try that paragraph? Should we read it together? Let's do it together first. Remember, I want you to make sure that your voice shows meaning. So we're not going to speed read. Our voice is going to go up and down to show meaning. You ready? Well, let's do it together. Right? You too, Anthony. Ready? Garrett Morgan was born over 150 years ago. He grew up in the South on his family's farm with his brothers and sisters. After he left the farm, he became famous for fixing and inventing things. He improved the
sewing machines in factories.
He also found a way to make curly hair straight. But his best inventions saved lives. Did you feel like you were changing your voice to show meaning? Someone want to highlight it for us? Show us. Go ahead, Gaia. Let's listen, Anthony. Read the same one. Mm-hmm.
By myself?
Yeah. Show us how your voice shows meaning.
Garrett Morgan was born over 150 years ago.
Whoa, try that again. Show a little meaning in there.
Garrett Morgan was born over 150 years ago.
Keep going. I want to hear some meaning in your voice.
He grew up in the South on his family's farm with his brothers and sisters. After he left the farm, he became famous for fixing and inventing things. He improved the sewing machines in factories. He also found a way to make curly hair straight. But his best inventions saved lives.
Excellent. I didn't hear a whole lot of meaning in there, but there wasn't really punctuation, that like an exclamation mark or a question mark. And I like how you went back. You accidentally skipped this word, and you went back and you fixed it, and that's what good readers do. You want to give it a go? Can you take your hood off? Come on, you got this. Read the first sentence for us. Show me meaning. Let me read it with you. Why are you being shy? Let's read it together. Ready? First sentence. You have to read it with me. You're looking at me and not the passage. Ready? Garrett Morgan, come on, Anthony, was born over one. Why are you being shy? All right, we'll get you in another paragraph. All right, second paragraph. Ready?
Can I read it?
Listen to my voice. I want to see if you can model after this. Morgan invented the stoplight. One time he saw a car hit a wagon. He wanted to do something so it would not happen again. So Morgan came up with the idea for a light to direct traffic. His light is now used all over the world. Did you hear my voice?
Yeah.
You gonna give it a go? You're being shy. All right, Gael, it's up to you, my friend.
Right here.
Let's show us meaning this time. Let me hear it.
Morgan invented the stoplight. One time he saw a car hit a wagon. He wanted to do something so it would not happen again. So Morgan came up with the idea for a light to direct traffic. His light is now used all over the world.
Okay. So I didn't hear a whole lot of meaning there. Again, the punctuation didn't direct us to like give emphasis or a question, but you did have a comma. Do you see the comma? So that comma tells us to pause. So listen. So, you with me? So, Morgan came up with the idea for a light to direct traffic. Let me hear you.
So Morgan came up with the idea for a light to... Wait, what?
Go ahead, you can start again. So,
Morgan,
let me hear. So,
Morgan,
say it again.
So Morgan came up with the idea for a light to direct traffic.
Good. Did you hear how you gave a little emphasis and with that comma? All right. We're going to keep going. We ready?
Yeah.
You ready, Anthony? Read with us. We're going to read it together. All of us. You can do this. All right, Morgan, ready? Morgan also invented the gas mask. A gas mask protects the person who wears it from bad things in the air. Hold on. Anthony, I still need to hear you, buddy. It's not just you. I'm not singling you out, okay? We're all here reading together, and I know you can do it. We're right where the word firefighters is. Here we go. Firefighters wear gas masks so that smoke does not
harm them.
People who work in tunnels and caves, keep going, wear them in case there is a
Gas leak.
soldiers and even regular people wear them in times of war. You're reading like this. It's gonna put us to sleep. All right, ready? Next paragraph. Even though Morgan's inventions have saved many lives, see the comma? He did not always get credit for them. His father was white and his mother was black and Native American. While he was alive,
many people were biased
against people who were black or Native. This bias was bad.
bad everywhere,
Good reading.
but even more so in the South.
It has taken many years for Morgan to get the credit
he deserves. But now we know who he was.
to this day. He inspires others to invent things too. Good, better job with those commas. All right, I'm going to have you each read me one sentence with a comma, and then we're going to move on. Okay, just one sentence. I'm not going to have you do a whole passage.
Can I do this one?
You can do whatever one you want. You want to do the last one? Which one you want to do, Anthony? You pick. You want to go back up here? And you only have to read one sentence with a comma. I just want to hear how you pause to show meaning. Okay? Do you know what I mean by a comma? Good. Who wants to go first? All right, Gael, go ahead.
To this day, he inspires others to invent things too.
Good. That was excellent. To this day, you pause. Beautiful. All right, Anthony, you're up, my friend.
So, Morgan came up with the idea for a light to direct traffic.
Beautiful. Good. And you went back and you fixed it when you accidentally skipped the word. That's what good readers do, right? We monitor. That was fabulous. Good job. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Good work. Okay. What we're going to do with this passage now is this was a little bit tricky yesterday when we were talking about it. You read it correctly. Put that on your finger. You read it correctly when we read the passage the second time, but the first time it was a little tricky. So when we first look at this word, what do you notice about it?
B-I-A.
Do you see any morphemes?
E-D.
You see an ED. So go ahead and circle the ED. And what do we know the ED means?
Add.
Past tense.
It means past tense, right? Okay, let's look at the base word. What do you notice about the syllable pattern?
Eyes.
How many syllables in the word?
4. No, 2.
four letters, but how do you know it's 2 syllables?
Cause
How do you know it's 2 syllables?
I
I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just asking you how you know. Say it.
5
S, right? It's 2 syllables. You were right. I wasn't telling you you're wrong. I just wanted to know how you knew. All right. Anthony, do you remember, I don't think you were with us at this point, Gael. We learned that there is, when we divide syllables, right? The last way that we can divide, you know how we have to decide where to put the line, right? So the first way is between 2 consonants, right? Let me write on my paper. So it's like this, V, C, C, V, right? That's the most common way. You remember this? The next is V, C, V, and we do it after the vowel. That's the next most common.
Why did you put it in the middle?
Oh, I didn't mean to. V, C, V, this is the next. And then the last, Anthony, do you remember this? Because you said this is the same in Spanish, right? Is when we have 2 vowels together sometimes, we divide right between the vowels. Do you remember that? I think the word I had was radio, and you told me that was a cognate. You told me that it's the same word in Spanish. And we said re, D, O. See how we divided right between? The reason I'm telling you this is that's the same with this word, bias. We're going to actually, when we decode this, right, there's 2 vowels, and we're going to divide it right between the vowels. And that tells us that there's 2 syllables. What do we know is this first syllable? What type is it? Closed, open?
Open.
It's open, good. And how do we know it's open?
Because it doesn't have a
The
consonant.
vowel.
It ends in a vowel. And what does the vowel do? Go ahead and do what I just did. What does the vowel do?
Make the word say the.
Yeah, it says its name. Good job, Anthony. It's a long vowel sound, right? And then typically this would say ass, right? Because it would be a closed syllable, but it's not. We flex it. It's a schwa. We say by us. It kind of has that sound. Do you remember the schwa? Yeah, by us. Good. All right, so then let's say this word again without the ending. What's the word?
Bias.
Bias. Have you heard this word before? Have you ever heard of, like you might have a bias towards something? No? All right, I'm going to tell you what this word means. All right, so I have some headers right here. I have fact and I have opinion. If you have a bias, it's typically based on opinion. It's a feeling that you have towards something. So you can be biased based on a feeling that you have towards something. So for example, let's get some statements out here.
Where is the pizza?
Let's read this sentence. What does it say?
The sun is in the sky.
Good. Is that a fact or is that an opinion?
A fact.
Yeah, the sun is in the sky, right? This is not a bias. This is just a fact. How about this one?
Trees have branches. Fact.
Is that a fact or is that a bias? I mean, is that an opinion?
Fact.
It's a fact. Good. How about this one?
Pizza is the best food. Opinion.
Why is that an opinion?
Because that's your opinion, not everybody's.
Right? So you could have a bias towards,
Something that
it's
you
based on a feeling, based on something that you like. Excellent. Anthony, you do this one.
Everybody likes chocolate. Opinion.
Yeah, it's an opinion, right? There are some people who don't like chocolate.
Yeah, or like.
Allergic
Yeah.
chocolate.
Oh, that would be bad. All right, this one's you, Gael.
All basketballs are around.
That's a fact. That's right. Here you go, Anthony.
Soccer is a sport.
Where are you going to put it? That's a fact. Good. All right, how about Gael? This one's you.
Popcorn is the best meal.
What is it?
Opinion.
How do you know?
Because not everyone likes it.
Right. That's just how you feel, right?
Your opinion.
Girls run fast.
Fact?
No.
That's hard to say, right? Every girl is different and every boy is different, so you can't base it on gender, but that would be an opinion. There you go.
Math is easy.
Right? Math might be easy for you, but is it easy for everybody?
No.
No. Anthony?
Ice cream is cold.
Fact. Good.
PE is fun.
Fact. Do you think everybody likes PE?
No.
What about people who don't like to exercise or don't like to, right? So you think it's fun,
Yeah,
right?
because I like to exercise.
Because you like movement, you like being active. Last one.
There
Can we do
are
it
4
together?
No, he can do it.
seasons.
Well,
No,
actually,
okay.
you know what? No, you were correct. Where we live in Maryland, there are 4 seasons, right? There might be some places that don't have like the 4 seasons like we do, right? Because
Like in the deserts, there's like only 2.
yeah, right. Okay, so the reason we did this practice with fact and opinion because a bias is related to an opinion. You have biases based on how you feel about something, right? So, I'm going to give you an example. Let's go back to, can you go back to the 4th paragraph in here?
2, 3, 4.
What word does the 4th paragraph begin with?
Even.
Even. Excellent. All right. Let's reread that paragraph together. And when you see the word bias, let's circle it. Even? Read it with me. Even though Morgan's inventions have saved many lives, he did not always get credit for them. His father was white, and his mother was black and Native American. While he was alive, many people were biased. Go ahead and circle it.
Against.
Did you circle? Oh, you did already. My bad. Against people who were black or Native. This bias, did you already circle it?
Was bad
Everywhere, but even more in the South. So let's go back. When it says many people were biased against people who were black or Native, what was their opinion? What was their feeling?
That people are white and some people are black.
Like people are like, black people are like bad.
Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Put it on your finger, or I'll hold it for you. Okay, good choice. Just don't let me forget. So say it again, I'm sorry. What did we say that sentence meant? Many people were biased against people who were black or Native. So what does it mean? What was their feeling or their opinion?
That black people are like bad.
What do you think, Anthony?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, let's look back at the paragraph, right? Let's go back to the first sentence. You ready? With me. Even though Morgan's inventions had saved many lives, he did not always get credit for them. Do you remember what the word credit is?
Yeah.
What is cred? We just learned this yesterday. Remember the example with Mr. Toscana?
Oh,
You said he's credible because he's...
Believable.
So cred means believe, okay? So if he did not get credit for them, it means that people did not
Just
believe him. So what we just learned is that he did not get credit for his inventions. People didn't believe he did it. Why? Why didn't they believe?
Because they didn't saw that.
Anthony, I want to hear from you.
okay. They thought Morgan's inventions were bad.
Well, they didn't give him credit for the inventions. They didn't think the inventions were bad. Remember that word bias? What was their opinion of black and Native people? What do you think? This is kind of like an inference. It's making you think a little bit deeper. Did they think that black or Native people could invent things?
Yeah.
No, they thought only white people could invent things, right? So they were biased.
Girls can
Another word for that is racist. Have you heard that
Yeah.
term before?
Some people, when they say like that thing, they say
The B
you're
word.
racist.
The
And what
B
does
word,
it mean to be racist?
like that you
you're
said
calling to another person another skin color.
So you're making a judgment based on a skin color. That's what they're doing here. That is a bias. That is a feeling or an opinion that you have, right? That's not based on fact. It's just based on something that you think. Got it? More of an opinion. Do you understand now what bias is? Okay, we'll come back to this. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you your favorite. Let's do a prayer.
What is that?
This is just to help us understand what bias means. Ready? So go ahead. You have your pencils?
Yes.
Ready? Let's write the word
Bias.
bias right in the middle. Just write the word bias. You don't have to add the ed.
I
So
remember.
do you know what it means by part of speech?
Hmm?
Have you learned about parts of speech? I know you have because you've diagrammed sentences.
I remember.
Noun, verb, adjective. Does that sound familiar to you?
Adverb.
Adverb, good job, right? So if in this story they were biased, that's a verb, right? That's an action. Even though it describes a feeling, that's an action. So you could write here, verb.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
I've done this.
I know you have.
Where?
You mean the Freyer model?
This.
Oh, yeah, in your class, right? That's
With
good.
Miss Piston.
That's it with this. Before you went over to Camacho. Okay.
Yeah.
It can also be a noun, right? Like if you are racist, it could be that's a bias. It could be a noun too, depending on how it's used.
I put now.
Instead of
No.
the owl. So go ahead and write now. Noun. It could be.
Noun.
It could be. It depends on how it's used in the sentence. Do you know how to spell noun?
Okay.
Do you know what two letters spell owl?
O-W.
O-U.
W.
O-W is one way. In this word, it's O-U.
O-U.
If it's O-W, it's usually, well, it depends. So it's O-U. Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and write our definition of a bias. Let's write it in our own words. What's a bias?
Opinion or fact.
Not a fact.
Opinion.
It's an opinion, right? So go ahead and write that.
Here, definition.
It's an opinion.
Bias is an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Is
So my definition that I have for you is it's an attitude that always favors one way of feeling or acting over any other. Okay? So you wrote it's an opinion. You can also say it's an attitude, right? Towards something. All right, what are characteristics of bias? Like what would it look like? You could say like a judgment, right? When you are biased, you're judging.
Racist.
It could be. Go ahead and write that.
What?
Judgment. It could.
I did
That's
write
one
it.
example. Not everybody's racist, but
Almost.
almost. Okay, you could write judgment. You
How
can
do
write
you write it?
what?
How do you write
How do you spell the word racist?
I know.
it?
Judgment. Oh, you know. Ready? Look at you asking me how to spell it, and
So like this.
you applied the DGE. So proud of you. That is how you spell judgment. To judgment. What else is it? It
It's an
could be.
Opinion.
You wrote opinion already.
Oh,
Racist.
racist.
It could be, right? That's just one form of a bias.
Judge.
I could be biased, right? If I am watching a soccer match and there's a player that I particularly love, I'm a little biased because I love this player, so I'm going to root for this team.
Like your opinion.
Does that mean I'm a bad person?
No.
No, it just means I really love this.
Just like your opinion.
We all have biases, right? Doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Some biases could be bad. Not all. Yes, it's like my opinion, my feeling, right? Let's say there was I'm going to give you another example. And then we're going to go down to our examples and non-examples. I'm going to give you another example. Let's say there was a science fair. Have you ever seen a science fair where people do projects and I pick Gael's or Anthony's, right? I look around and I pick one of yours. I might be a little biased. Why? When I say pick, meaning I think it's the best. And it may be very good, don't get me wrong. But if I picked yours over everybody else, why might I be a little biased?
It's your opinion.
How do I feel about the two of you?
Good.
Yeah, I really like you guys. So I might say, oh, this is the best because I think you guys are pretty cool, right? Versus looking, if you are not partial, right? If you are like open-minded and I just look at the criteria, oh, this really meets the criteria. So even though I really like you two and think you're awesome, I'm going to pick this one because this met all the criteria. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's do an example of a bias. Actually, you know what would be there is racism is an example of bias. How do you spell it? Do you know how to spell race?
R-A-C-I-S-T.
That's racist. R-A, that's race. So if you're going to add an ending to it, you would erase the E, and how we drop the E a lot of times.
Yeah.
And what ending do you want to add?
S. I-S.
Say the word. What word are you writing?
Right.
Racist.
So ist. Add ist.
That's what I said.
I know. I didn't tell you you're wrong.
Example?
That's an example of being racist.
If you put the A, it's in the word in Spanish.
How do you say it?
Racista.
That means racist? See, you guys are always
Racista.
teaching me. All right, so a non-example of a bias is a fact,
Racist.
right?
What?
A non-example is a fact.
None. Wow. Done. Use the word in a sentence.
What?
It says use the word in a
Yeah.
sentence.
So go ahead. Let's think. Can you think of how to use the word in a sentence?
Yes.
Are you biased towards something? And it doesn't. You don't have to say it in a bad way. Again, I have biases,
Same. Me too.
and they're not necessarily like negative. It doesn't affect anybody negatively. What are you biased towards?
Bias means what? Opinion?
Your opinion. Like you have a strong feeling or an attitude towards something.
I don't know.
I'm a little biased in that if I'm gonna go on if I could choose like a
Oh,
vacation I want to go to the mountains.
I know what to put.
Right? Because my feeling, what I love, my attitude is I love hiking, I
Wait.
love being in the woods, right? I'm a little biased.
Can I say the word?
Go ahead. What's your sentence?
Black people can play like soccer.
That would be a biased statement. That's an example of a bias. Yeah. Is that based on fact?
No.
No, right? Anybody can play soccer.
No.
But I want you to use the word bias in a sentence. You gave me an example of a sentence that shows a bias.
Biased on
Towards what? What's something that you like have a strong opinion?
A soccer player?
yes.
Yeah, towards soccer, right? You might say soccer is the best sport.
Name it.
You're a little biased, right?
I'm biased.
Mm-hmm.
Giddy.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Biased.
I am.
D.
That's bias. Are you using it in a
The D sounds like T. Biased.
You got it. Bias. You're right. Biased. Good work. I am biased towards what?
Soccer.
Yeah, towards soccer.
How
Why
do
are you
I write
biased towards soccer?
it? How do you write it?
Because you have like.
Towards. Oh, we're gonna add that to our red word.
No.
What did you say?
What do we know about the word towards?
Towards. And then
What do you think it has?
two
Two. It has two. Two.
words.
Close. It's
Oh, wait.
AR.
I was gonna say that.
Oh, you knew
we
it?
learned that.
Good. Did we do it?
We did toward. Like.
We did it as one of our red words, and I forgot. Shame on Mrs. Horn. I'm glad you eventually remembered. I am biased towards what?
Soccer.
Why are you biased towards soccer? I want to hear a because. Is there a reason you like soccer more than any other sport?
So, is it with double C?
It's with a
Yes.
double C. Why are you biased towards soccer?
Because
I can tell you my.
there's famous
Because
people on.
Is that a sport that your family enjoys?
it's
Yes.
a.
Do they watch any other sports?
My dad watches only soccer.
Mine's too.
Because you grew up watching soccer. My son loves the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a football team. Do you know why?
Why?
Because that's all
Because
he
I
knows
grew up,
from his dad, right? His dad loves the
I
Eagles.
grew up
because, you could say because my family loves soccer.
Because
Have you been watching soccer for a long, long time? That's like my son with the Philadelphia Eagles.
My family.
How do they feel about soccer?
I have watched soccer for a long time.
Perfect. That's a great example.
Wait. Just like this. Family
Yes.
likes, because my family likes soccer.
Yes.
But
Soccer a lot?
Yes. Yep. And do your cups.
CUPFs. CUP.
Good. Do you remember what cups is?
yes.
Good.
Capital letters.
Understanding, like, does it make sense?
Look at this. Look at that.
Punctuations.
Excellent.
Capitalized.
Use.
And S is spelling.
Oh yeah.
Good. All right, let's change focus now. We're going to go back to this. And we already talked about this a little bit with comprehension.
I thought we didn't do the red word, but we did already.
Yeah, we did the red word already. I am going to pull out one more time our little bookmarks here, right? Let's remind each other, what does this mean? This is our reciprocal teaching. I'll erase it, guys. I want you to focus on the bookmark, okay? All right, remember our reciprocal, our Fab 4 bookmark. What are our 4 strategies here? Anthony, put your pencil down, please.
Predict.
Predict, good. What do we do when we make a prediction?
Use clues from the text
I
or
think
illustration.
I think, right? What does it mean when we question?
Ask like,
Questions.
I wonder. I wonder.
I wonder, good. Who, what, when, where, why?
Clarify.
What does it mean when we clarify?
How can you
figure out tricky or hard words and ideas?
And then the last piece here is
Summarize. Using your own words, tell the main ideas from the text in order.
good job.
This text is about blend.
All right, so I'm going to give you some feedback here, right? When you're reading, are you with me? When we're reading, we're always thinking about what we're reading. And if something doesn't make sense to us, we have to monitor, meaning we have to stop and say, wait a minute, that didn't make sense. That's what it means to ask questions or to clarify, right? So for example, that word sewing, it wasn't the right time to do it because you were doing a fluency. But after reading, you could say, what is this word? I don't understand it, right? And that's okay because
That's a question.
it could be a question or it could be a clarifying question, right? Now we know what sewing means.
Yeah.
Now we know what sewing means.
No.
What does it mean?
I forgot.
I know.
You said your mom has one of these machines at
I
home.
know.
What
I
does
know
it
what
do?
it means.
Which
If it's
Sewing, a sewing
I know
machine.
what it means.
Oh, so like a laundry machine.
It's not a washing machine. It doesn't clean the clothes.
They like when you have a pant.
Yes.
It puts it and
Pant strips.
And what does it do?
it cooks,
Cooks it?
makes it like normal.
Fixes it. You mean if you like tear something? Okay, it could fix it. Or let's say your pants are too long and you need to shorten them a little bit, right? You put a hem on it so you can sew it. Yes? Okay, or you can just make clothes. There are some people who make their own clothes. They buy the fabric, they cut it, and then they make these beautiful clothing. I know, not Mrs. Horn. I'm like Gucci. I'm not that talented. All right, ready? Are we ready to go back? So we clarified the word sewing. That's an example. Bias was also a hard word. When we read this the first time, both of you,
I didn't circles. So
that's okay. Both of you, when we read the word bias, you both kind of got quiet because that was a tricky word for you.
what, bias?
Yes, the first time we read it.
Oh,
We
yeah.
read it a few times. We know what bias means now, right?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you what you did the first time as a reader. And that's an opportunity to monitor for meaning. That's an opportunity where we stop, question, and clarify. Okay? All right, let's go back down to the bottom. We've talked about the top a lot. We're going to go back down to the bottom, and we're just going to make sure we understand what it means that Garrett Morgan didn't get credit because people were biased. I want to make sure we got this, right? So let's go back and reread that, and then we'll read the last paragraph, and then we're going to do a quick summary and be done. Ready? Here we go.
Even though Morgan's inventions have saved many lives, he did not always get credit for them. His father was white and his mother was black. A Native American while he was alive, many people were biased against people who were black or native. This bias was bad everywhere, but even more in the South.
Okay, so stop. Can you tell me? This is kind of like a little summary, right? Let's summarize. Using your own words, tell the main ideas from this passage, or from that paragraph. So tell me what that means. Now that you know what biased means. What does that mean?
Like opinion, your opinion.
Tell me what the paragraph means. In your words.
The paragraph, the text says that
Black people can.
Morgan's invention was good, but
They didn't.
but he didn't got credit for it.
Why?
Because his parents, her mom was Native American black, and his dad was white.
So what did that have to do with Morgan?
Racist.
Morgan wasn't racist. Who was racist?
The
Why?
oth-
Maybe he
other
was
people.
racist. I don't know, but that's not what that
The
says.
other people.
What?
The other people, right? The people they're talking about, that they didn't give him credit. Why didn't they give him credit?
Because his parents were different,
Different color, right? Where did they live?
and their parents farm.
Where does it say that? Oh, at the top. You're right. Good job. I'm looking at this paragraph. So when I asked where do they live, sorry, you're right. The last sentence. This bias was bad everywhere, but even more in the
South.
Do you know what that means? What does the South mean? The South of what?
The South America.
Not South America, but the South of the United States, right? Do you know anything about the South at a certain time period?
No.
I don't know if you studied this.
No.
No? Because I know you studied, I'm trying to think what you did in social studies. So this was just a time period
Are you
of
studying
civil
this?
rights, and the South was particularly hard on people with color, right? This is like the end of slavery, so it was a hard time in the South. So you might have more people that were biased. All right, last paragraph. Ready? Last paragraph.
It has taken many years for Morgan to get the credit
He
he
deserves.
deserves.
But
But now we know who he was. To this day, he inspires others
to invent things too.
too.
That was awesome. I heard expression in your voice. That was like a 4 out of a scale of 4. That was fantastic. Tell me what that means. What did you just read? You're doing a summarize for me.
That's nice.
What does that mean?
That
That everyone knows what he does now.
Good. It says it's taken a long time, right? For Morgan to get the credit he deserves.
but now people have seen what he creates.
And how do they feel about him now?
Like famous.
He's famous for sure. What's the word that the author used in this passage to describe how they feel about him?
Inspires? No.
Yeah. What's the word?
Inspires
He inspires what?
others to invent.
Invent other things.
To invent things. You know what it means to inspire?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, you do.
Show.
I bet there's people that inspire you. I bet some of those soccer players you mentioned, I don't know.
Teach you.
Or Mr. T might inspire you.
No.
Doesn't necessarily mean
Like show
teach.
you.
It means that they like make you want to do great things. You like, oh, look what they did. I want to try that, right? If he can do it, maybe I can do it, right? So it's kind of like a role model. Do you have role models in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
One time we did dirt cups.
You did what?
Dirt cups.
What does that have to do with? Were you inspired by dirt cups?
Yes.
You just really enjoyed the activity.
No, we first did like ads, like remember?
Was this related to something? Okay, our last thing here, and then we're gonna call it a day, right? We're gonna practice this strategy of summarize. We're gonna use our own words to tell the main ideas. So what I want to do is the first, the then, the next, and the finally. Tell me about Garrett Morgan. Let's start from the beginning. Okay? From the beginning of Garrett Morgan. We can annotate right in the margin. We can write on this. What do we know about Garrett Morgan?
First,
What?
Morgan was born over 150 years ago.
So what does that tell me?
That he was born.
He's not alive anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Okay? But in our summary, we can't tell every single detail, only the main idea. So if I read this paragraph...
Oh, that he grew
Up in the farm.
Listen, I'm going to read it to you, and I want you to tell me the most important sentence in this. Ready? Garrett Morgan was born over 150 years ago. He grew up in the South on his family's farm with his brothers and sisters. After he left the farm, he became famous for fixing and inventing things. He improved the sewing machines in factories. He also found a way to make curly hair straight, but his best invention saved lives. What is the most important part of that
That he
paragraph?
saved
for
our lives.
fixing and inventing things.
And
So
he
let's
saved
go
our
ahead
lives.
and write, let's do GM for Garrett Morgan. We're just going to do abbreviation. GM was
Was
famous for what?
famous for
Why is he famous?
saving
Fixing
lives.
things,
And what else?
creating things.
And inventing things, which is like
How do you
creating.
spell famous? F-A-M.
It's in your text. Can you find it? Oh, you have it. You spelled it correctly, silly. Garrett Morgan was famous for fixing and
For-
inventing things. All right, there's our good topic sentence. That's like our main idea. All right, our next paragraph.
Wait. And or. And.
And
Making things.
Then
Make-
Morgan also,
let's read the next paragraph and come up with one statement.
even though Morgan
Not yet.
Oh,
Right here, buddy. Let's go right
Morgan's-
here.
Morgan invented the stoplight. One time he saw a car hit a wagon. He wanted to do something so it would not happen again. So Morgan came up with the idea for a light to direct traffic. His light is now used all over the world.
Listen to that expression. Holy moly. That is good stuff. All right, so what's important from that paragraph?
He saw a wagon hit a car.
No, a car hit a wagon.
Oh yeah, car hit a
Okay,
wagon.
that's a detail. What is the most important part of that
that
paragraph? What did he do?
That
He
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 made
made a traffic light.
for like
He just made one?
no.
He made a lot over.
What did he do? Did he copy someone else?
No.
No.
What word am I looking for?
New. Made.
So
When you think of the idea on your own, you
option
Vent.
So what are we going to say? He
He
invented
invented.
traffic lights.
Good, write it. The traffic
Invent.
light. Oh my gosh, what would we do without Garrett Morgan? We'd have lots of car accidents.
He invented
The
What did he invent? You know this.
the
traffic light.
Perfect.
Tra-
I like how you're using your resources.
traffic light.
All right. I'm going to read the next one to you. You tell me what's next. Tell me what's most important. Morgan also invented the gas mask. A gas mask protects the person who wears it from bad things in the air. Firefighters wear gas masks so that smoke does not harm them. People who work in tunnels and caves wear them in case there is a gas leak. Soldiers and even regular people wear them in times of war. What's most important?
Next, Morgan invented a gas mask.
Good.
For people because
To help people.
yeah,
To help people.
And it could be like, but right. Let's keep it short.
because if
Let's say
Morgan
GM.
didn't existed and he would have made the masks there was a lot
There
of
would've
people
been
dead already.
Right. So he helped save many lives, didn't he?
Yes.
So GM invented the
The gas mask.
gas mask. So this is not my paragraph. That's why I'm writing it in notes like GM.
Invented. ED.
Invented, yeah.
ED.
ED, yeah.
ED.
invented
the
gas mask.
gas mask.
Good work. All right, and here's this paragraph that we read so many times.
This one?
What, we don't have to reread that one. What do we know is most important from that paragraph?
Which one? Even though Morgan's invented that one.
Mm-hmm.
Finally,
Saved many lives.
Morgan.
We already know that.
Morgan.
Didn't get a lot of credit for it
Why?
because his parents
Bec-
were
Because
different
other
type
people
of
saw
color.
that, and the
Because
parents.
use that word because people were
biased.
good. All right. So we're gonna say he did not
He
get credit
did not.
for his inventions
Bad.
because
He did
people were
For
credit. He did not get credit
for what?
for his
Inventions. Why?
his parents were different type of colors.
Mm-hmm.
His parents.
That's the word shun.
You found a shun.
Where?
So why didn't he get credit?
How do I spell where?
For his
Where?
invention because
W-E-R-E. Where?
That's were. If it's a question word, it's gonna be W-H.
W-H.
I didn't finish it because I want you to. What were people?
Where?
People were what?
because
Use that vocabulary word.
people saw that his
How do I spell different?
parents were that his dad was
Is this how you
that his parents were a different color,
This one? Is this
And
how
what
you
were
spell
they?
white and black,
But what the people
Native
who didn't
Americans.
the people who didn't give him credit were what?
Biased.
Biased.
Is that how you spell
Because-
different?
Diff, and then so you have diff is one syllable. Your second syllable is fur.
Fur?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, now what do I write?
Because they saw that
There.
his parents,
Oh,
so not there because it's only one person. His, you could say his mom, really.
Different
his mom
Mm-hmm.
was black.
Mm-hmm.
colors.
And then period, right? They were biased because that's a long sentence,
They
and we always capitalize. They were. Were.
Like this.
Were, not where. Were. You were right. No, you were correct.
Is it W-E-R-E?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
What's that word?
By
Biased.
Yes.
Good work.
biased like that?
Yes.
What
Put a
time
period.
is it?
We gotta go. All right. We're not gonna write this down because we're out of time. Did he ever get credit?
No. Yes.
Right? But it was many years later. Okay. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Good work, my friends.